So, what is the Tuba Trail? Glad you asked. Here's an overview of what we're shooting for. Hopefully, this year, basically from Jacksonville to Las Vegas, with the ultimate goal to get somewhere here around Los Angeles. Tuba Trail is a transcontinental unpaved bicycle adventure trail. We used to call it our going to California route. We've gotten something a little more catchy now. It's a coast to coast bicycle route designed for mixed surface riding, prioritizing unpaved roads wherever practical, across publicly accessible unpaved roads, paved roads, and double track. I don't foresee there being single track in the mix, but we're not against it. Who knows what we'll come across. Lots of this was scouted in 2019, and then COVID got in the way. We weren't able to finish the project. Now I want to finish the project, and we'll talk about what's verified. We've got a pretty good chunk verified now, what's coming up in the very near future, and what's coming up later this year and into next, or maybe with people's help. Who knows? Maybe we can knock it all out this year. Let's talk about what it is first, what is there, what's almost there, and what's nowhere near being there. Let's look at the overview map. This is on Ride with GPS, but this is a private account. Don't go looking for this stuff. It's down under lock and key at the moment, but let me give you a rough idea of how it breaks down, what's been scouted and what hasn't been. Essentially, in 2019, we got as far west as basically Monument Valley here. And let's do the terrain. Monument Valley, Arizona. This area in here. We actually made it down to Cayenta, but we took the highway. I haven't been on this stretch yet. So we made it that far west in 2019. Was what, 6 years ago. So we've had to start re-verifying it. I can't just send people right back out on it. And there were some pieces that weren't completely complete. If I remember correctly, we had a really wet year in the southeastern United States that year. When I verified Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana that particular year, there were some muddy sections and some sections that were underwater. So what we've done so far in 2025, we've verified from Jacksonville, re-verified and made adjustments all the way from Jacksonville to Mississippi. That's a done deal right now. And when I say we re-verified and adjusted, particularly around Jacksonville, this northern loop around Jacksonville itself, we had to redo what had been a fairly straightforward. This is all grown up here. So this just turned into something I wouldn't want to send anyone to ride a bike down. But now that's been adjusted. Some minor readjustments around Lake City that we threw into the mix. And then I think it was pretty much the same to Thomasville. Pretty much the same there. I made some adjustments after Thomasville. Coming right out of Thomasville still isn't my favorite at the moment, but there aren't a lot of options. It's technically a bicycle route coming out of there, but we have a few miles that it's not terrible. There's a decent shoulder, bike lane, whatever you want to call it, but just more traffic, more high-speed traffic than I prefer to send people on. But there's no other way out of Thomasville to head west, basically is what it boils down to. So we rerouted a little bit of that to Alabama. We actually ended up redoing Alabama quite a bit. The issue with Alabama the first time around, the route itself worked. There's just not a ton of dirt roads in southern Alabama. Most of it's paved. And so after I scouted it the first time, I expected to come across more dirt roads, and it was still good riding, but I redid this route And we're up to, I think the team that scouted this for us last week, I think they said it was 35-ish% dirt and gravel through Alabama, which I think was probably closer to 15%, maybe 20 prior. So we upped it a little bit. So that is all the way scouted. Current plan is to try to get either Mississippi or most of Louisiana, one or the other. Weather will be probably the most determinant factor there, and try to verify one or the other. Let's go into a little bit of breakdown here. These are the different routes. So basically, if it's a GTCA with a number, like that's verified. That 122 miles from Jacksonville to the Osceola National Forest area, just east of Lake City. That's verified. GTCA 2 from the forest into Georgia. This is a great ride too. That's done. From there to Fort Gaines, that's verified. So basically to Alabama. And then 4 is verified, and GTCA 5 is verified as well. And I believe it was verified all the way to Waynesboro, Mississippi. My plan is to go, I know it was verified to Silas at least. Yeah, it was verified into Waynesboro. But I'm probably, when I go to do the Mississippi Scout, I'm probably going to go to Silas, Alabama, and take it from there, is my current plan. What is also complete is our RAT 1000 route. We've been doing this in variation since 2014. I think this 1,000-mile version since 2017. Minor tweaks each year, very minor tweaks. So far, we haven't done any tweaks to it this year, but I consider this a complete route from Texarkana to Tucumcari, New Mexico. So that's complete as well. Mississippi or Louisiana, or hopefully both, will be done in April and May of this year. I'm pretty confident in Louisiana. Most of that I did before. Let me go to my Louisiana map. A slight change up from what I scouted before, basically around St. Francisville. Originally I had it going up into Mississippi. This is some amazing riding up in here, but for what we're doing, it's just too much of a detour. And if you do Rouge Roubaix, you pick up some of that anyway. I was thinking about, I didn't realize that was the Rouge Roubaix stuff when I first laid out the route, because Rouge Roubaix had been shut down for a while. And then when I got it out there, this is some amazing stuff. I'm surprised there's no event out here. Then I found out later, that's Rouge Roubaix roads. And they have since come back. So if you want to check out this stuff north of St. Francisville, hit up the Rouge Roubaix ride next time it's up and running. I expect, though, Louisiana to up to I-20 to be, I don't expect that to be any different than what I had already found. That's very, very interesting stuff there. I do want to dial in from I-20 to Texarkana to something different than what I had before. Since then, we've been scouting and putting together routes and rides up here north of Shreveport, and I've found some really neat stuff. So I want to tie in that neatest stuff and find the best way into Texarkana. I have something mapped out. We'll see how it goes. I might save that for several trips and really hone in and nail that section down between roughly Shreveport and Texarkana. Big old honking question mark. Here's Mississippi only. I think this is going to be good. Once I get into it, I think there were a couple roads I had to go around because they were flooded in the middle of the forest sort of thing, but it wasn't a major deviation. And I think this will probably be fairly straightforward, but I've been burned before thinking things like that. Tucumcari is where the rat ends. The way I have it routed from the rat route presently, and if y'all have any thoughts on it, I welcome your feedback. So the rat goes all the way into Tucumcari. The way I have this routed right now is leaving San Juan, and I did scout this. This was a great route into Colorado. This is really cool, actually. All the way into Trinidad, but I don't have it following the rat all the way into Tucumcari. The idea, this is the same rat route here, and you just go north. You guys tell me, does it feel like I'm cheating you to have the tuba route not follow all of the rat all the way to the end point? Do we need to find a way to double back from Tucumcari? I think we can catch some dirt roads here and then a couple miles of 54 and pick that up. You tell me. I'm one of those, I like to just ride as much dirt as I can and put as much dirt in the route as I can. If there was no rat and there was no Tucumcari component of the rat, if we were just doing this route, I wouldn't go into Tucumcari. I would do this shift like I have it mapped here. But I do appreciate that if you cover all of the rat route, and except for the last 15 miles, maybe you want to do the rat. You tell me. And or maybe we can offer both options, because I don't know. You tell me. That's the whole point. A Texarkana push. Yeah, this is what I have mapped out presently, but I know there will be changes to this, but this looks really interesting. I'm looking forward to scouting that. Let's do this. This is called basically Colorado only. From New Mexico, the Capulan volcano area, Capulan, up into Trinidad. This was all verified in 2019, except for one pass. I do need to. Let's look at the terrain. That'll tell us what we need to know, I do believe. That's going to be that pass right there. That high point right there. I think I made it to about there. Somewhere in there. I had a rental Jeep, but it was street tires and running boards. This was not a section of trail that was going to be amenable to street tires and running boards. It's a four-wheel drive trail, but I have not seen it yet. So this pass needs to be verified. And somewhere along the way, we got to do a big pass. We got to get across the Continental Divide somehow or another. So the natural tendency, I understand it, would be basically, hey, let's just go straight west across New Mexico here. The short story to that is there aren't roads through there. It's just going to be a lot of trudging through sand, even when it is labeled as a road. It's just a bunch of sand pits. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to run into any of that in Arizona or Utah or Nevada. It's quite possible, highly probable, actually, we're going to run into sections that are the same issue there. But if that is the case, maybe it's just a few miles here and there, as opposed to once we leave Tucumcari, it's just sand all the way to the Pacific Ocean. The way it goes through Colorado now into the Four Corners area, this is some amazing riding through here, and then all the way to Monument Valley was very cool stuff. Absolutely amazing. What I hope to nail down, I definitely want to re-verify that section. And we also start getting into tribal lands through here that I need to verify. I know the Colorado stuff, I have that verified for permissions and access and everything like that. The Arizona and Utah stuff, I need to double check those, but I also need to make sure the routes work first. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to figure out the permitting or permissions for the group if it's nowhere that we're going to end up going. So right now the idea is to catch the Grand Canyon from the North Rim. I haven't been in there yet. I've never been to the North Rim, so I don't know if this works. I'm fairly confident we can make something there work, though. It's whether it's exactly this or not, I don't know. I also had it going through Zion National Park since we were in that neck of the woods, but it looks like, and if anybody wants to correct me if I'm wrong, because I have been wrong before, it looks like Zion National Park, you basically can't go all the way through it on a bicycle. There's a tunnel that they don't allow bikes. And then just general access into Zion is problematic as well. So we're staying south of Zion, but picking up some other really cool stuff and a backdoor way into Las Vegas that I'm super excited to check out. Saw some really interesting stuff there. So that's the current overall concept that we hope to have knocked out this year. To getting all the way to Las Vegas this year is pushing it, but as far west as I can along here, assuming things work, somewhere along here, something's going to break and we're going to have to start over. That's also part of why I don't have anything mapped past Las Vegas. I need to make sure we can get to Las Vegas. I have some stuff mapped out, but it's way too early in the process to look at going past Las Vegas. It's a super duper crapshoot to get to Las Vegas as it is, but I say that we did a really good job of getting all the way from Jacksonville to Kayenta in 2019, and with only some minor fixes that need to be thrown into the mix. Fingers crossed. I'm excited, looking forward to nailing this down and sharing those adventures as they come along going forward. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments below. This is just meant to be a quickie overview of it. We'll share more details as the pieces come together. But again, for people that think this is a pipe dream, we've got a pretty good chunk of it knocked out. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, done. Texas, done. Louisiana, I would call that 80% done, and that 80% needs to be verified, and the other 20% I'm super confident will get put together. Mississippi is either basically done or I am having concussion head hangover and totally misremembering how smoothly it went through Mississippi. New Mexico to Colorado, essentially done, depending on if we want to go from Tucumcari or from San Juan. Definitely from San Juan or Tucumcari, either one, all the way through Colorado. I need to re-verify all of that, but that's all stuff that I've had wheels on the ground through there previously. But things do change in 6 years. Off the top of my head, I'm remembering parts of Colorado now that were actually major forest fires that turned into flooded out areas that I had to reroute then, but they were under major construction. I bet those are fixed now. So things like that. There will be minor changes, minor deviations, but basically all the way through Four Corners back into Utah and to Monument Valley, it's pretty much pre-verified. Do final verification on that this year, and then hope to get a really good chunk. Let's blow this up because I really started looking at this last night. I'm really excited. Zoom in on this. Yeah, there's Monument Valley there. So basically from Monument Valley, check out all of this, which looked really cool. And then into the north rim of the Grand Canyon, to the canyon's rim, back out to Jacobs Lake, get a cookie, and go by Vermilion Cliffs, but just below Zion National Park, but some really cool looking stuff here. And then maybe into Las Vegas. Valley of Fire. Oh, Valley of Fire State Park. I forgot about that. I was like, what's this deviation? Oh my gosh. I got to find a way there this summer. I got to find a way there this summer. I'm getting excited. Who wants to join me? All right. Subscribe, comment, whatever. We'll definitely be updating this and keeping y'all in the loop. Hopefully, a Mississippi or Louisiana trip next week.